Welcome to Still Plays Galaxy of Heroes. This is the weekly talk. This is going to be a quick one. Here are the topics we're touching on this week. We're going to talk about Mothma, early thoughts now that she's been released, particularly what I'm thinking about with counters. Then we're going to transition into just quick thoughts on the login character, what I think is going to be happening this month, 3v3 teams, what I'm kind of getting a feel for in Grand Arena after 2 weeks, and then we're going to hit the gearing that we do in between Grand Arena and Territory War signups. So last week I showed this slide of what I was thinking was going to be the ideal team based on before Mothma was released. So Cara Dune, 3 Baka, Scarif, I think are the obvious options. And then I speculated on these 4 attack and support characters. And now it's looking like Pow is the clear favorite if you put the Zeta on Pow. That's something I think I'm going to be doing. I might wait until the speculated upon next character is released and kind of see if that's related to the Mothma team or if that's going to be unrelated altogether. The login character kind of suggests maybe it's something else, maybe not. We'll touch upon that in a moment. But what I think you want with Mothma is 2 tanks at a minimum, possibly even 3 tanks. But that team is much harder when you have those 2 tanks. One thing that I hear a lot of people talking about is like Traya being the go-to counter. I think that is wrong. The go-to counter in my mind is unquestionably Jango Fett. I'm going to be putting on the unique Zeta on Jango Fett. That's always been considered a good Zeta, but I've just held off because I've been putting Jango on defense, and there's no point of having that Zeta if you're using Jango on defense. Unless you're taking Jango up against Night Sisters or Jedi Knight Revan where there's a revive to be considered, it becomes a luxury Zeta. A good luxury Zeta, but still a luxury Zeta. With Mothma, I think it is no longer a luxury. I think it's become essential because even if you use Traya, you have a lot of time to have to bring down that Nihilus Annihilate, but more than that, if there are 2 tanks or more, because I think you could go for a timeout strategy and go 3 tanks, don't use POW, like use K2. What will happen is you will isolate Cara or Scarif or some tank. The other tank will still be taunting, and you're not going to be able to annihilate who you want. You're just going to have to keep going through, and that is not going to be the most effective use of Traya when you can be taking Jango Fett, ignoring the taunts, preventing the revives. You can bring Mando along with Jango, still get an annihilate with Mando. You can have Boba Fett with execute prevents revives too. So you have a potential bounty hunter team that with Bosk now has the protection recovery to take these constant hits coming from Mothma with all these assists. And then you can ignore taunts, go after who you want, and slowly whittle down and take out this team. Plus, then with Jango, with the conflagration, you can be reducing the max health that is happening from all this shared stats that are happening from 3 Baka and Mothma and the Rebel Trooper. Now, in terms of 3v3, I haven't been getting a lot of success out of Mothma. I've been using Cara Dune. I put the Zeta on Cara Dune last week. I tried Scarif. I tried 3 Baka, but I think my gear level was too low. So I think this week we're going to gear up a little bit more in that department. Now, in terms of the login character, we've got Stormtrooper Han. For once, I'm not entirely certain what this is pointing towards. My best guess is this might just be pointing towards galactic challenges. There's been the data mine showing that the Death Star is part of the galactic challenges, and maybe Stormtrooper Han is just pointing in that direction since that's where we were introduced to that version. Otherwise, there might be a rework, but that's probably unlikely. It would be nice if he got a little bit of a touch-up. And otherwise, I really don't want to get another Han. I really hope that's not the direction that CG goes. But really, I don't have too many other thoughts on that. I want to just touch upon it, and now we're going to talk about 3v3. I do have a lot more that I wanted to point out with how my team has been doing in 3v3. So here are the teams that I've been having success with on defense. This Bosk team has given a few of my opponents trouble. I've just added Karga. He's at gear 11 with one of his Zetas, not the damage increase one. Multiple opponents have been tripped up by this team. It's just a standard Telzing team that everybody knows. Then my other opponent here in the final round of week 1. They also got tripped up by Telzing, but they got tripped up here again with this Bounty Hunter team with Karga. This past week, week 2, we saw a little bit more of that, but the final matchup, I actually lost that one. My opponent had a good strategy, one-shot all my teams, and if you saw the video, I tripped up on it. This team here, this Newt Dooku Geobrute Alpha team, this team has been doing a lot of good work for me. A lot of opponents have had trouble with that one and have usually taken a pretty overpowered team to go up against it. And then this Bastila team, number of people have been tripped up by it in the past. This is the first time in this season that it's worked out. So we're going to touch upon gearing for this week, and now I have a little bit of a dilemma. What I probably should be doing, what the head wants, is to go for Jedi Knight Luke, gear up the characters that I still need to there. But what the heart wants is to work on Mon Mothma, Sith Trooper, Mandalorian, characters who are really going to be helping me out with Grand Arena. That's where I get my most enjoyment out of the game. That's what I want to do. But I think I have to do a little bit of some responsible work. So here's where my gear is at, this top row. Here are the Jedi Knight Luke requirements in gear that I need. And here are some of the new release characters that I want to spend the gear on. And I built this spreadsheet so I could break down and more visually easily see who's easy to gear up. Like, there's a few characters here. Like, Sith Trooper is not that bad. Like, Wedge I could do right now. I can finish up Wampa right now. But like Rolo and Captain Han, they need way too many carbs. I'm not going to touch them right now. But there's also Mando I could do fairly easily. He's not too demanding other than the Kairos. So there's a few things that I'm seeing here. I could even make some good progress towards the Galactic Legends. Like, some of these characters, especially these older ones, the gear's not bad on. But I think what we're going to be doing is we're going to do a couple of both. Some for Jedi Knight Luke and some others for fun and for Grand Arena. So we're going to bring Wampa finally up to gear 11. We're going to spend these carbs. This is what's really been slowing me down at this gear level 9. We can just upgrade him. And we're just going to upgrade him one more time. We're just going to finish him off. He's at gear 11 now. We're going to take him off the board. But I really want to test out Mothma. I really want to get a better feel for her. She has this droid collar right now. She needs stun guns. 2 of them. These are HoloLenses. We're going to take her up 1. And we need to put on this Zeta, the being, to preventing the being targeted. It's essential at these lower gears, and it's really causing me problems. Hopefully this time around we'll see some more use. I'm not going to bring her up to the next tier. She needs a bunch of Kairos, but I will put on the easier pieces. Next up, we've got a cuff, we got a carb, we got a lens and a stun gun. We double check where we are on stun guns. So we've used 150 so far. We're bringing them up. Because looking at my chart that I built, he only needs one stun gun, and then the rest, like it's a Cairo, a lens, a furnace, the droid Mark V droid collar. Yeah, we're taking him up one more. I think we'll stop at 10. That should make him more usable than he has been. He's been kind of just fodder for me at this point. And Mando, we're taking him up because I haven't been able to really use him in Grand Arena. If you've watched any of the videos, you see I keep trying to, but he's taken out before I'm able to use his disintegrate. So that's a carb, a stun gun, and a Cairo. We'll take him up one level. And then we're also going to do Aura Sing. She's too fragile. We're gonna just take her up one level. I think she just needs hollow lenses at this point. Make sure we haven't spent too many of those. We've spent about 80 of them. So we'll take her up one. We'll see if this makes her a little bit more survivable, if we can get a little bit more use out of her. And we'll put on any of these easy pieces. Actually, if she's this easy, we're taking number one more. So again, eyeball, cuffs. We're gonna think about that one. Just a bunch of stun guffs now. We're not gonna touch those. But we are going to put on this Omega, this turn meter gains, nice. But these other Omegas, and I think I'm going to put a video out about this, is just the other Omegas, or I guess these are Zetas, but this Omega, who cares? Like, she's going to have the stealth, she's going to have the buff for her contract. An extra buff is not going to be a big deal. Okay, we're gonna call it for this week. That is about all the gear I'm gonna be able to afford right now. So thank you for watching, everyone. I'm exhausted, but I've got my work deadline stuff taken care of. I'm going to hopefully this week spend a little bit more time on the channel, put out a bunch, not a bunch, put out a couple videos that I've got some ideas working on that I've been doing some work in the background for. But be safe out there, everyone. Good luck next week in Grand Arena, and be excellent to each other. This has been Still Plays Galaxy of Heroes.